You guys might remember, in the early days of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there was a would-be Fan Friday submission that was crushed by the Ion Deluge glitch. Well, it is fixed, and we're back. So let's go and watch what the strategy was supposed to do, and I am all for it. So there were some hype moments, and now we actually get to see those hype moments have payoff. And it's gonna be pretty fun. So we got a couple battle submissions. Let's go and watch how this one does against legendary Pokemon. Got the legendary birds as well as a Sword of Justice. So this is gonna be an interesting little doubles for sure. Substrika Quillfish. That's just a fun little opening. Like, I was just like sitting there, I'm like, what is this even going to do? So Substrika, it's actually got a lot of fun stuff behind it because it's not only about Ion Deluge combos, but about what you can do with the Zebstrika. So surrounds itself with the Z power, unleashes the Z Force move, and that's going to be the Gigavolt Havoc. So going for crazy amounts of damage. This isn't what I remember. I thought it was like some kind of, they used a move that ended up boosting special attack or speed, and then there's also the motor drive. So then you Ion Deluge into Explosion, you gain the motor drive boost, but it looks like that isn't necessary because Quillfish is going to go for the Swords Dance using the Z move as an offensive option to just go and nuke out the opponent. So it looks like the strategy has evolved quite a bit as well. And then the Ancient Power onto Quillfish. Ow, that actually did a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, Quillfish not as tanky as it could be for being a Pokemon that knows stockpile and stuff. But I think it received a buff in the 6th or 7th generation, right? Got like slightly tankier somehow. So that's gonna be the Ion Deluge right there from Zebstrika. Zebstrika is a pretty quick Pokemon, and then Quillfish with the explosion. So Lightning Rod, alright. So Zebstrika has Lightning Rod, which is gonna boost special attack, and then that means you use the Ion Deluge to boost speed with the Z move. I think that might have been what the combo was. I don't remember because it was a couple months ago. But yeah, you do that, so now you're gaining speed and special. You're gaining speed plus another stat, and then you just go for the crazy damage, and then that's now an Ion Deluge explosion. So it won't be able to be walled out by Ghost-type Pokemon, will be walled out by Ground types, and then with still enough damage to go and take out 2 legendary birds. And now the opponent's day is pretty much done. So we see the Steelium Z. We also have a speedy Gourgeist. That's a small little guy, not the big Gourgeist. So +1 special attack, going to be solid damage onto the Cobalion. And then, just in case, we have the Phantom Force to finish off, just in case the opponent wants to like use a Protect or something. Next turn. Wait, was that like next turn? What happened? How did the Phantom Force already work? That was quick and weird. Wait, what? Okay, so I learned something today, and that almost never happens on this scale because I did not know that Bounce, Dig, Dive, Fly, Shadow Force, Phantom Force actually counted as moves with a charging turn and therefore would be powered up with Power Herb. So I went back and watched the video because I'm like, okay, what witchery happened right there? And the Gourgeist was actually under the influence of Power Herb and then immediately went for the Phantom Force. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that. I cannot recall a time where I've actually seen someone with like Fly, Dig, Phantom Force actually use the Power Herb to gain the instant hit right there, because when you think about Phantom Force, that's going to make it to where the opponent can't use Protect on the following turn, so pretty much you just kind of seal their fate. But this is a totally different, wild strat I was not expecting, because I didn't think that moves with a semi-invulnerable turn actually counted as Power Herb-able moves. Because like, okay, yeah, I was pretty sure like these moves right here couldn't be affected by Power Herb, but it is, and then you never see anyone do it. So that's crazy right there. Because I know how Power Herb works. I just didn't know it worked for those moves because you never see it happen, and you don't think it happens that way. It's like, oh, this isn't a charging move. But apparently it is. And that happens. Also, the Gourgeist, something worth noting as well. So it's the small size Gourgeist. And it has like some interesting combo potential maybe. I'm not really sure how to see this, because that means you have a 1-turn instant Protect break, which means if the opponent is going for Protect, you don't have to worry about like the Phantom Force and then guaranteeing that they don't Protect next turn. You just use a 99 base speed Pokemon, anything slower than that, and you're going to be able to get the damage down. So I'm wondering if Zebstrika goes down, you use the Gourgeist to then like knock off a Protect, and then you still explode anyways, or you can kind of do whatever you want. Also, 85 attack, while not a lot, is going to be some pretty nice instant quick damage to help finish off an opponent. So that happened. Let's get into the next battle. I did not know that, and I honestly believe that a lot of people did not know that that's how it works. Unless you like specifically look into the Power Herb, most of the time you go Geomancy. Yeah, that makes sense. Skull Bash, you don't see that move ever, but that's one of the powering moves that you're used to, not just fly, because it usually says something. It usually says like it's charging, or the Pokemon is like readying an attack, not the Pokemon flew up in the sky and now it's invulnerable. That's weird. Like, that's weird for sure. But let's go and watch how this next battle ends up playing out. So now we have the Mega Charizard X next to a Gengar, and then we got Zebstrika and all. Oh wait, it was Z Rain Dance, right? And I'm trying to remember what I saw with this Zebstrika. It was like Z, no, because it's a Lightning Z. I don't know. Or Electrium Z, whatever. Oh, Perish Song Gengar, that's fancy. Huh. So Charizard going to come in. But why are you using the Perish Song on the non-Mega Gengar? You can't trap it in like that. So Quillfish, at least it gets to tank up that Dragon Claw. Goes for the Swords Dance. So this seems like the strat that Quillfish wants to do. And then the Rain gives Quillfish the Swift Swim on the next turn. So you explode. And then Zebstrika is also going to gain a lot of benefit as well about just being a base speedy Pokemon. Is this going to be... Oh, let's say, are we switching out into a Pokemon that has the Shadow Tag? Looks like it isn't that way. But switches out the Perish Pokemon, brings in a fresh set of Pokemon to try to, like, wall out and stuff. My guess is that Greninja, like, tries to survive this turn, ends up kicking up a mat, Snorlax is tanky, and then everything's going to go good from there. But the +2 Liquidation under Rain takes out the Snorlax. And then now we're going to see Zebstrika just using that Z move. I'm guessing is it going to be the Z Ion Deluge, or is this like a kind of revamped strat? Yeah, just damage. Okay. So this actually seems like the perfect, ideal kind of setup right now, that you use this Gigavolt Havoc, and then you KO the opponent. So that's one KO right there, especially when they switch into a Greninja like that. And then the Liquidation under Rain on +2, I guess Quillfish regularly scores KOs with that because it took down the Snorlax. Snorlax is one of the highest hit point Pokemon in the game. And then I'd imagine that the Greninja is an intentional switch in to kick up the mat to then like have everything else work out. So the opponent's strat kind of coming through right now. Gourgeist is a response. Then we're going to see what the Quillfish does. So you can only do so much. Actually, no, Quillfish outspeed. So you could either take... I'm actually trying to figure out what the plan... Oh, yeah, I was about to say, you can either take out the Greninja before it kicks up the mat, you can outspeed, explode, and KO everything. So this is the backup strat. The backup strat is that you don't Ion Deluge, you switch into Gourgeist. Gourgeist is a Ghost is safe, they don't have any Ghost-type Pokemon, so you get the double KO anyways on that +2 and all that other crazy boosting that we've seen. And now Gourgeist is in, you break the sub on the opponent, except, yeah, like then you bring in a slower Pokemon. Except Ribombee isn't slower. Okay, that was, Gourgeist needs a buff, guys. Can we all say that? Can we all agree that Gourgeist needs a buff? Like, speed form Gourgeist should be like a 112 base speed, and maybe have 95 attack. Like, the big form Gourgeist we don't see too often, because its base stats aren't there, but the mechanic is really cool. So yeah, wait, how's it fast? How is it that fast? How's it outspeeding Gengar? Now is there something else I'm missing? Okay then, because it has Frisk, so we didn't see any shenanigans there. I guess if it's Perish Gengar, it might be Tank, so it might have gotten outsped naturally. But yeah, like, and it's so weird watching that animation, because you don't see the tiny Gourgeist that often. So we have small little Gourgeist coming in, Power Herb just instantly beating it down right there, just laying down the hurt on the opponent, and it's like, it's done, just like that. And I was in the middle of talking about how awesome the Gourgeist mechanic is, because you get to go out and like you have to farm the right size on the Gourgeist. That if it's small, it gets to have a higher amount of speed with a lower amount of attack and hit points. And if it's large, it has a higher amount of attack and hit points by a lower amount of speed. But it just doesn't really work out when you actually look at the stats. Actually, Gourgeist time, guys. Bink. All right, let's go and like show you guys what this is about, because yeah, 494 base stat total. It's okay. It's less than starter Pokemon Final Evolution. I mean, for an average Pokemon that you encounter in the storyline of a game, not terrible. But I mean, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, 122 defense. That's awesome. But then we go from 55 hit points to 85 hit points. That's nothing. And then we also gain like a small amount of attack, well, like 85 hit points. If we're looking at a giant pumpkin Pokemon, it should be like a 120 hit point Pokemon. That thing should be bulky. But it isn't, so it actually, like, it has average hit points. It goes from terrible, tragic hit points to kind of average. And 85 on the attack to 100 on the attack, that also doesn't seem like that massive a form change, because, like, average hit points, average attack, and then you're trading that for less than average speed. Like, if you're under 100 speed, you're not even a sweeper. So, like, nothing about the Pokemon ends up working out. I'm, like, wondering how you could fix that. Like, technically, if you just added 40 to the base stat total and started playing around with 40 extra points, that could make the Pokemon pretty scary, or chop something off the defense. You know, it doesn't need a 122 defense. It needs to end up at a 122 hit points. Like, I wasn't, yeah, and then since it's smaller, I guess it wouldn't need to have as many hit points. So it's a really cool idea, a really cool Pokemon, a really cool mechanic. But you see right there, you can make it work, but I think, like, the stats just don't back it up as much as it needs to, and that's kind of it right there. So yeah, guys, Gourgeist being used in a way I never imagined before. Power Herb, learning so much stuff when it comes to Pokemon. This is actually pretty awesome. And then applying with the Ion Deluge, Explosion, the Z-Substrika, a really cool team that comes together in a much different way. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.